Hello, and welcome to this very special Building Leadership Community podcast live event on International Women's Day. Before we begin today's conversation, I want you to think of one woman whose voice shaped the way you lead. Maybe she challenged you, maybe she encouraged you. Maybe she opened the door you didn't even know existed. Now imagine what leadership would look like if more of those voices were amplified. Today, on International Women's Day, we're honoring the women whose ideas, stories, and courage shaped leadership around the world. Stay with us as we roll credits. Hello, and welcome to Building Leadership Community Podcast. I'm your host, Dora Mendez. I am the founder and CEO of Coach Dora LLC. Our guests will be entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders that drive social impact. It can be lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be. Hello, amazing leaders. Welcome to live recording of Building Leadership Community Podcast. We're live on LinkedIn and YouTube. Put in the chat where you're watching us from. And that woman leader who really means a lot to you, write her name in the chat. Hello, everyone again. Welcome. I'm your host, Coach Dora Mendez. To those joining us live and to our listeners tuning in on the Building Leadership Community Podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here, for making the time, for choosing to be in community on a day that carries this global significance. Today, we celebrate International Women's Day. This is more than a date on the calendar. It is a moment of reflection, recognition, and renewed commitment. So take a second, say hi in the comments. So what is International Women's Day? Let's put into context why we're celebrating today. International Women's Day is observed annually on March 8th is a global celebration of the social, economic, and cultural political achievements of women. But it is also a call to action. The origins trace back to the early 1900s during a period of labor movements and organized activism. Women were advancing, advocating for better working conditions, voting rights, fair pay, and dignity in the workplace. In 1977, the United Nations officially recognized International Women's Day, affirming its global importance. Since then, the UN has continued to center annual themes around gender equity, empowerment, and dismantling systemic barriers. Around the world today, communities gather not only to celebrate progress, but to acknowledge the work that still needs to be done. There's still a lot of work ahead of us. International Women's Day matters because gender equity is not just a woman's issue. It is a leadership issue, a workforce issue, a democracy issue, a human rights issue. And today we gather not only to celebrate women, but to elevate their voices. So we're going to transition. One of the most powerful ways to elevate voices is through storytelling. Stories extend our worldview. Stories challenge our assumptions. Stories connect us across borders, generations, and lived experience. So today, I want to honor International Women's Day by sharing books written by extraordinary international women, authors who have shaped my thinking, my leadership, and my commitment to equity. I've organized these in 3 categories. So the first is guests from our podcast show, authors who have been on our show. And, I want to celebrate these women who have graced our very platform in season 3 of Building Leadership Community Podcast and on our YouTube channel. These guest authors share their leadership stories with us. And the first one, who I just loved her story, you're going to love her episode, is Dr. Fulgani Shah. From Gaslighting to Truthlighting, a framework for advancing fair opportunities for women in the workplace. Dr. Shah was born in Mumbai, shared her powerful leadership journey on our podcast. Her work introduces the concept of truthlighting as a response to workplace gaslighting. Her framework challenges organizations to move beyond performative equity and towards measurable fairness. It's bold, it's necessary, and it gives women language for experiences they have too often endured in silence. And so you'll find her on our season 3 episode 4 podcast. And you could, if you're watching, we put the QR code on the screen. If you're watching live, say hey in the comments. And if you are listening on the podcast, we're going to have links to all of this in the show notes. So don't worry if you're listening to us driving in your car on your way to work on Monday morning. No worries. You'll have connection to all of our authors and, of course, our show. And so the next author who's coming up later this month for Women's History Month is Dr. Elena Ruiz Lopez. The Fight for Equity in the Bronx, Changing Lives and Transforming Communities, One Scholar at a Time. Dr. Ruiz Lopez centers community, voice, and lived experience in her work. Her book grounds equity in real neighborhoods, real families, and real systems. She reminds us that gender equity doesn't exist in isolation. It intersects with race, class, immigration, and geography. Her work reflects what equity looks like when it's operational, not theoretical. So her episode is coming up soon. I hope that you'll tune in. We have started every season of this podcast led by the leader I most admire and a book that I really want you to get your hands on soon. And one of the reasons why I'm sharing these international women's voices is because that diversity of leadership and understanding how to overcome adversity. Our tagline at Building Leadership Community Podcast is, it can be lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be. And so I'm so proud to share this next author's work because she happens to be the leader I most admire, and that's my mother, Zenaida Mendez. Zenaida Mendez book is called Amor y Desamor de la Diáspora, Love and Heartbreak from the Diaspora. The English version is coming out very soon. It's a powerful memoir exploring love, heartbreak, identity, and migration. It speaks to belonging, to living between cultures, to navigating life in the diaspora. The English version is coming soon, and I encourage you to keep an eye out for it. These women are not just authors, they are leaders, and their stories reflect the courage. International Women's Day honor. And I'm so proud that they were on my show. So Zenaida, my mom, she's opened every podcast season 1, season 2, season 3, because she has so much to tell. So I hope you get a hold on that, get your hands on that book. I see that there's some comments, so just thank you for those coming. Hello from Albany. Thank you, Dr. Arias. Thanks, Mom, Zenaida, for watching, and Dylan, so thanks for commenting. And we're going to transition now from guests on the podcast to literary fiction that has really transformed me. These are books that have shaped my leadership perspective and opened up my worldview. The Farming of the Bones by Edward DeCant. I don't know if any of you have read it, And if you haven't, you should. This novel tells the story of 1937 massacre of Haitians in the Dominican Republic. While fictionalized, it offers a deeply human account of genocide, dictatorship, and authoritarianism. It changed the way I think about Haiti. It deepened my understanding of historical trauma. It reminded me how quickly systems of power can dehumanize. Though it was written years ago, its themes remain painfully relevant today. I'm just thinking about it. Oh, I didn't know I was going to get emotional, but just thinking about that book just stirs so much emotion. Literature like this expands empathy, and empathy is essential for leadership. It's essential. And so the next work that I've actually read many times, In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. I have read this book 3 or 4 times. It tells the story of the Marabar sisters and their resistance to dictatorship in the Dominican Republic. It was later adapted into a powerful film starring Selma Hayek. This story reminds us that women have always been at the forefront of resistance. Our courage, our justice, our moral clarity. The themes of sisterhood and standing against authoritarianism resonate across generations. I see some hearts there. Thank you. And so I would be remiss when I talk about literary fiction, also to talk a bit about memoir, identity and resilience. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about another book I love, The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. It's a poetic exploration of girlhood, culture, and belonging. And I know someone whose childhood memoir carries the same resonance, and that's Dr. Angela Arias. Her book, A Half Century Ago, a compelling memoir chronicling the resilience of family, love, and overcoming challenges in 1970s Bronx. Dr. Arias shares a deeply personal narrative rooted in identity, culture, and perseverance. Pardon me. I had the honor of serving alongside Angela on the 2024 International Women's Day panel on education hosted by the National Dominican Women's Caucus at John Jay College during a Latina summit. And if you are watching live, there's a photo of Angela and I on that panel. And if you're listening, you can check out photos, of course, on our website anytime. And I'm excited to share that on March 18th of this year, of 2026, on March 18th, I'll be back at John Jay participating in a panel on gender equity. So as an affiliate, I'm an affiliate practitioner, and I teach at John Jay, and I'm an affiliate practitioner with the Initiative of Gender Equity. And so on the 18th, if you are in New York City, and you're around, please join us. We left the QR code up if you're watching live to register. And if you're listening, we left the link will be in the show notes. If you're in New York and passionate about gender equity, I invite you to join us. These stories remind us that representation matters, memory matters, voices matter. And I'm so proud to be sharing the stage with this distinguished panel. And so here's the third category of books that I wanted to share today. And those are the books that I've co-authored. Storytelling is so important to me. Many of you have subscribed to my weekly Substack where I share beyond Heritage Month's reflections on inclusion all year round, not just on a calendar day. And I wanted to share the 2 collaborative projects that mean so much to me. I've co-authored Latinas Rising Up in HR, Volume 3, Executive Edition. This book centers Latina leadership in human resources and executive spaces. Latinas are leading global HR functions in multinational companies, yet fewer than 2% of Latinas hold C-suite roles. Representation at the top still matters. This book highlights resilience, strategic growth, and the power of visibility. International Women's Day bonus. That's the bonus. For tuning in live today, I'm going to send you a copy of my book for free for tuning in live. And until 11:59 p.m. today, if you DM me with your email address, I will send you a free copy of my chapter from Latinas Rising Up in HR. I just saw a comment here about the dignity of advocacy and highlighting Rosa Parks. Thank you so much, Clara Diaz, for rising up, a leader herself, who is an amazing example of international women advocacy. And so I want to share a little bit more about Latinas Rising Up in HR before we move on. We've had other of my book sisters on the podcast. Priscilla Grasso, who is the leader of Latinas Rising Up in HR. She was on season 2. Stephanie Martinez, another book sister, who really her podcast episode is really powerful because she considers herself an introvert. So she talked about leadership as an introvert and what that looks like. Carrie Ann Powell, thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to her, the leader she most admires, Keisha Winter. Thank you, Carrie Ann, for being with us. And if you love hearing stories about women who overcome adversity to lead by example. Leadership isn't just a job title. I hope you tune into our show. New episodes drop on Fridays. Today's a very special live one. And I got the leader I most admire is me. But that's my podcast producer / husband. Thank you, honey, for the support. And so the show has many voices, and we hope to bring more authors on as we move forward. And I know Angela she'll be on season 4. She's writing a second book. She has about, the first book was about her childhood memoir. Now she's doing a second book, so we can't wait to bring her on to talk about her leadership story. And then I want to bring to the stage the next book, which is Extraordinary Latinas, Volume 4. They just came out with Volume 5. So this is a great alignment with the next volume and the growing community that is United Latinas. And my chapter in Extraordinary Latinas is really a personal one. While Latinas in HR talked about sort of my journey in the workplace to getting into the C-suite and how to navigate those spaces, the Extraordinary Latinas book is much more personal. I talk about sort of my origin story as a leader from when I was a child, having 2 parents who were very civic-minded, and from the Afro-Latino perspective. As an Afro-Latina, there is a unique perspective there, really talking about, the Americas through the diaspora, overcoming adversity, building influence. And I love this Extraordinary Latinas. It's so inspirational. And if you're ready to be inspired, my book sisters are amazing. And so I hope to have some of my book sisters. Oh, I did have from volume 4, our last podcast, Erica Dox Martinez was on the show. So she was great. She talked about financial wellness, and we got such a huge response to that podcast episode. Especially from my high school and college friends, which I because of the money story with managing college debt and where we are now as Gen Xers in our sort of financial money story. So Erica, thank you for that. Your episode was sparked a real chord, and it got us to our most views ever on YouTube. We hit a big milestone with 3,200 views on YouTube. And that's not counting the streams on all the other audio platforms for our show. So I want to thank everyone for their support, for showing up on Fridays, listening to the Building Leadership Community podcast, following us on social media, and looking to the Building Leadership Community podcast and Coach Dora, me, for leadership advice. We also drop Career Clarity Monday videos, which people have really, really grown to love. It means a lot to me. And I'm so happy that what we're doing here is resonating. And so I want to close with a reflection. International Women's Day is not just about celebration. It is about intention. It asks us, whose stories are we amplifying? Whose leadership are we investing in? How are we advancing equity in our races and communities? Stories shape culture, books shape leaders, and leaders shape systems. Today, I'm encouraging you to pick up a book written by an international woman, support her voice, share her work, discuss her ideas, and continue building community where equity is not aspirational, it's operational, where it's built in. So not only just pick up these books I recommended, I'd love to hear from you. Put notes in the comments, any books that you like. What books have influenced you? What book written by an international woman has helped you move forward in your leadership journey? So, pardon me, I didn't think I was going to get so emotional. So if you're listening, here I am trying not to hold back tears. But thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for being here, for building community with me. And we love to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Make sure you leave a note in the comments, DM us your email address so you can get your free copy of my book chapter. Again, it's about my leadership story as an Afro-Latina from the Afro-Latina perspective. Yeah, I'm so thrilled. Yes, that's a book. If you're with us live, the book's on the screen. You can get a copy of the entire book, Latinas Rising Up in HR. And if you DM me with your email address, we'll send you a free copy of my chapter talking about my leadership story. So again, storytelling is so important. It's a great way to celebrate International Women's Day. What stories impacted you? We'd love to hear from you. Send us a note. I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you for building leadership community with me. Happy International Women's Day. Mwah. Thanks everyone for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful International Women's Day. See you next year. You've been listening to Building Leadership Community. Watch on YouTube at Coach Dora M. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Coach Dora M. Visit me on the web at CoachDoraMendez.com. Hosted by me, Dora Mendez. Produced by Dora Mendez and Dylan Rogers. Graphics, editing, and sound mixing by Dylan Rogers.